Insights with Terri Apr, a weekly look through the eyes of predictive astrologer Terri Apr. Here's Terri.
Hi everyone, this is Terri, and you're listening to Insights with Terri Apr. Thanks for joining me. We'll explore together the week of April the 26th through May the 3rd, 2026. Now, before I go and forget, I want to mention that this week we have a full moon. Full moons offer us such opportunities. Excuse me. Friday, May the 1st, is a full moon in Scorpio. That is so cool. Scorpio energy is psychic. So it has a preponderance of energy that allows for that thin veil and us to traverse, I'm going to say, other worlds. We can meditate more easily, more succinctly, get in touch with subconscious, unconscious, and if we have a mind, get it in touch with our guides, those powers that be, that source that's outside of ourselves. So it's an amazingly powerful time for a full moon to be in Scorpio. Now, the other psychic signs in the zodiac are Pisces and Cancer. But Scorpio's a deep one that really needs some concentration and focuses a depth of conversation, a depth of concentration, a depth of layers in relationships, in situations. So it's not happy looking at the surface. It wants to see underneath all of that. Now, I'm finding that really fascinating on top of just the energy of it. But the Devil card came up. One of the cards that came up is the Devil. Now, in the cards that I pulled, every one of them were major cards. That means that we're headed into some circumstances and timelines that are extremely important and will have an effect on our lives for many, many, I'm going to say years to come. So it's kind of a transition in that we have to let the past go and see clearly. The first card that was pulled is the Fool. And the Fool's considered a child or a joker, a baby joker, where we have to look at, in faith, just the way a child does, we have to look at circumstances and try to leave our ugly baggage behind. And I think we all have some, so to speak, ugly baggage. But we're supposed to be learning lessons, but not letting those lessons drag us down. So this week is going to be concentrated around what have we learned in our lives? What are we learning? What do we expect to learn, possibly? And how do we let it affect us? Do we let it bring us up? Or does it take us down? That's something we're going to have to look at. And that's something we can be responsible for. Because I think if we're conscious in this and we look at these things from a perspective of agency, we have choices. We can choose. We don't have to be the victim of an alcoholic family. We don't have to be the victim of an abusive wife or husband or abusive friends. We choose to stay. We choose to move on. We choose to create boundaries. We choose. And even doing nothing, that's a choice. So if you look at politics, with many of the politicians that are immobilized, so to speak, in fear, that's a choice. They may be frightened children, but they're choosing not to make a decision, and not making a decision is a choice. So we can't get away from that. So the Scorpio energy in the full moon is going to allow for us to have some deep insights, if we choose, into what's going on around us in the world, what's going around us in our family, what dynamics would I like to keep, what do I think I've outgrown, and how can I serve other people, and how can I serve myself in making all of this better and a learning opportunity, a growing opportunity for everybody around us as well. Now we have a lot of Aries energy still hanging around, and we're moving into Taurus. So we're moving from that fiery Mars war kind of energy into the Taurus energy, which is a little more solid. Now we've got to be careful of that. I know that there's negotiations for the Strait of Hormuz, and I know that the United States can think that they're good deal makers, but at the point that they're in, they're not. Anyway, and right now, Iran is looking a little bit more powerful than the United States is, at least in leadership. Isn't that terrible to have to say that? So, when you look at that, getting stubborn in deception, which the Devil card came up here, getting stubborn in lack of truth, getting stubborn in things that are not realistic and not real, isn't going to help anybody. So with this Devil card, what we're supposed to be looking at is we have to dig with that Scorpio energy down to the truth. We have to find out what the truth is. And this is going to go beyond my truth, your truth, the truth. The truth. There's only one truth. Now there can be offshoots. There can be opinions. There can be I feel likes. But really, basically, there is one truth. So this is what we are being taxed to try to find. Now, that being the case, we're going to be given some tools for that. So as I said, we're moving out of that fiery energy, getting more into an ability to be stable in something. That communication of Gemini in Venus is going to allow for good communications, or the opportunity for communication. So that could be global. Hopefully they get some communications going so that our oil prices don't kill us, or fertilizer prices don't kill us. But also with our family and our friends, opportunities to speak our truth, but with love and kindness and compassion, but being able to communicate. I need this, or could you help me with this? It's nice to have people that we can call if we need. I have a very special friend, and he has offered to help me with little things around the farm. Now, he's a really busy man, and he has a family of his own, and the last thing in the world I would want to do is interfere with his very little time that he has for himself. But just knowing that if I got into a bind or a situation, I could call him and say, I almost said his name, I could call him and say, could you please help me? Or is there any way that blah, blah, blah? And he would. I know he would. And isn't that a wonderful feeling? What a gift to be given to a human being, to know that somebody has your back. And when was the last time some of you have done that, have offered that to your friend, to somebody in your family? I've got your back. If there's anything that you need, I'm here. I would be happy to be able to help. How can I help? So if we could maybe extend ourselves with all this energy that we have here, maybe we could learn to help each other and really fix that community feeling. Now, on that note, one of the cards that came up is the Star, and the Star is an energy field that is a little bit on the magical side. It's definitely a major card, and it's suggesting that there's hope. And gosh, we need the hope right now. So this is an energy field that bestows on us inspiration, things that we could call luck. I call it, I'm so grateful, lucky. I do say I'm lucky, but it's just, I'm blessed. In that comes tranquility and maybe a form of optimism. And then that starts to open the gates towards trust, so that we can walk through them and trust in either the situation, or that we can handle it, or that the powers that be know this is happening, so we're not alone, giving us confidence. and encouraging faith in our future and the future of humanity and the future of the globe. There's comfort in that. There's relief in that. There's renewal in that. There's happiness. There's promise and help. And in that help, we feel protection. We feel that we're protected. And that restores us. And that, again, increases spiritual love. Because of the selflessness of the people around us, offering this help or letting us feel that we are seen, there's a heavenly light in that. It's just, if you could see auras, this heavenly light just illuminates. It makes one of those LED bulbs look dull. So they're going to try to show each and every one of us what our special talent is. And I know so many people ask me, I'd love to know what my special talent is. I believe that we can find it by listening. People tell us. They tell us what they liked about us. They tell us, hopefully, if you've got friends like that, they tell us what we did that meant something to them. They tell us, I felt really good when you did this. And if we have that type of person around us, that type of people around us, that type of family, that cultivates an energy in us that tries even harder. So we get even more, we give even more. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. Now we're getting a little bit of a warning. The Woman of the World came up. It's a major card. It's the last in a phase, so it's showing we're coming to the end of a cycle as humanity and as individuals. And when we come to the end of a cycle, what is asked of us in this is to learn from the lessons. Now, it's in a position that we have the ability to learn from what we've just gone through, which is very powerful. It would be amazing because we seem to, as humans, not learn from the mistakes that we made or not learn from history, but we're being given the opportunity to do just that. So that would be interesting to see if we actually use that. And a little bit of a warning here about maybe things becoming a little bit more of a struggle. So we may run into an energy field that will pressure us to feel things are shrinking, kind of like jeans that are too tight. But that can be things around us. So then that is supposed to offer us an opportunity to look in a different direction, which would be maybe, you know, those depression hacks of how to make food stretch, hacks that we had when we were young, just coming out of the Second World War. We didn't have a lot, so we had to make do, and all these little hacks that we had helped us reuse things and recycle things and not feel deprived as much as creative. So we're being offered this opportunity through a little bit of shrinking. So I believe that they're talking about the economy shrinking, our financial resources shrinking, different things around us shrinking. So on that note, I'm just asking you not to feel or to live in a feeling of limit. So we are limited only by what we think. We are limited only by what we believe. If we believe, poor us, I can't do this, instead of, wow, how blessed am I that I can do this instead, and look at it with a different attitude, it becomes very, very powerful. And that's what they're going to try to help us cultivate. And as I said, that Devil card came up, so we want to be really careful. That's a major card, and it's asking us to look beyond the mask. It's actually a picture that's not really a bad, ugly picture, but we know that the devil's got to be ugly. I'm sure he's ugly, and I'm sure he has a wart on his nose. So that being the case, they're just saying that the mask looks pretty, but the ugliness is underneath. So with that Scorpio energy, they're asking us to look past the mask, to look deep, to look at what things really are. So this is where typically I would not listen to pretty words as much as I look at actions. Actions, as they say, will speak louder than words, and they do. They do. Somebody can say, I'd like to help you, but if you do ask them for help, they can't, or they won't, or they have something else to do. And then you learn what type of people they are. And then you learn what kind of person you are. Am I a person that offers help and it doesn't show up, or do I show up? So all of this is being given to us as an opportunity in the next little bit to encourage. And with that full moon on Friday, in that very psychic Scorpio, May the 1st, wow, we're being given the opportunity to really open up our lives, given energy, and a new reset, a new start on our life going into this new phase. So that's it, kids. That's it in a nutshell. We have this wonderful one, I think, and wonderful week that we can make the best of this week. Huge, huge tools that we can use in our arsenal to make our lives better for now and for the future, and help others as well in a very inspiring way. That's fun. That's just so fun. So don't forget, you be kind to each other in this energy field, especially that psychic energy. We can read each other's it's more available to us to be able to have an intuitive feeling on what our friends are going through, our families going through. So if you get that nudge, don't be afraid to listen to it and to do something about it. Make that phone call that you feel that you should. Now, on that note, I would like to thank Charlie O'Brien for doing all the work getting us up on all the platforms. And don't forget to make yourself feel better by listening to his live streaming, the Big Number 8 Radio. That's big8radio.com. It's the 60s, the 70s. I think there's 50s in there too. And, who doesn't feel good with that kind of music? So that's the big8radio.com. And thank you, Charlie, for everything that you do for us. I'm so, so grateful. And all of you for taking your time and listening and taking that moment to maybe think and see how we can work differently with certain situations. If you need a reading for yourself, I'd be happy to do that, about your animals or yourself, your family. Text or call 519-726-6699, or you can email me at terri.coutts@gmail.com. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Just have fun with this. The weather's getting better and better and better. Bye for now. Talk to you next week. Be good.
Thanks for listening to Insights with Terri Coots. Visit Terri's website at terriworld.com. TERRI world.com.